Councillor Roy, did you have your hand up? No? Okay, your second delegation, Ms. Gasser.
Okay, so we've learned that there's two issues that Covanta was disputing. There may be many more. I just know about two. One was that they were not happy with the late penalty that was started to be assessed after they missed the contracted start date. And on January the 6th, the Oshawa Express reported that Covanta was disputing the management committee decision around ash testing, and specifically the ash quantity issue, which resulted in Covanta failing that acceptance test. Now, it was completely predictable that some would characterize the ash issue as minor, perhaps telegraphing that acceptance at some point was coming in the not too distant future. So it's an educated guess what might be under consideration for you today, but there could be other stuff. Durham staff seemed to be content with the MOCC comments in their letter of December 15, and MOECC Celeste Duga wrote to Covanta, so this was not a letter even to Durham, but it was to Covanta, that the ministry, and I'm quoting, that the ministry is satisfied that Covanta is capable of operating in compliance with ECA limits. Why did that letter not clearly state that Covanta had demonstrated compliance? Note that all related information has not been posted on the project website. Now, MOECC allowed Covanta 2 more do-overs, as I had just explained, on the dioxin stack tests, during which Covanta, using a lot more reagents than in the first stack test, managed to finally knock down the dioxin emissions. The December 14th MOECC memo from Mr. Azakar states on page 8 that EMISA information is considered inconclusive. The Oshawa Express reported that Mr. Curtis got an explanation about this, but he would provide it only at the appropriate time. When exactly would that be? I would say now would be a good time, because that is an unresolved issue that Wendy explained to you in detail, and it has significant potential effects to the public. On December 22nd, you got a confidential verbal technical update with HDR in the room. And as I said before, for the millions spent on HDR advice, did you at least demand something in writing, signed by an engineer who has to operate consistent with the Code of Ethics? Now, MOE has put in place environmental compliance approval conditions, but you, as the majority owners, must demand unequivocal proof that Covanta has passed all tests and met all guarantees fully. You must be confident they could do so over the next 20 years of the contract, and that unresolved issues would be addressed properly and promptly. Instead, Durham is battling with Covanta. They have a dispute with their partner, York Region. So I provide you with 3 recommendations. Owner stack testing. Last October, when the emissions thing blew up, staff indicated that you, the owners, have the right to conduct independent stack tests, and that this was already in the budget. But Covanta shut down at the end of November for a few weeks, and will shut down again in February. You must direct staff to conduct these stack tests prior to any decision around acceptance testing. And regardless of how staff might propose to resolve Covanta's ash quantity dispute, you must do that first. You must be absolutely certain that Covanta demonstrates compliance with all ECA emissions limits and conditions around temperature, and that all samples are analyzed and reported by a Canadian accredited lab. Number 2, regarding the late penalty. As I mentioned, Councillor Diamond requested a reconciliation. This was long before dispute resolution. That's not a confidential matter. You must get that before any proposal might be given to you to consider regarding the late penalty. And I have to say I'm a bit confused with the late penalty, because the report before you says that Covanta still owes 1.08 million, and I saw something yesterday that says they're paid up, so I really don't know what's happening. And my last comment is about the ash quantity guarantee. Durham staff knew by at least April 14th, 2009, that Covanta had proposed conditioning fly ash. Report 2009 G18 states in section 3.0 on page 9, bottom ash and Portland cement stabilized fly ash would be sent for landfill disposal in New York. And in June 2009, via report COW03, Council delegated authority to senior staff and Chair Anderson to negotiate and execute a project agreement. So this, everybody should have known about this. There is a residue quantity definition in Appendix 10, Section 1.92, but it does not mention pozzolan or cement. I find nothing in the project agreement that would clearly state that residue quantity would include conditioning materials. I'm not saying it's not there, I'm saying I can't find it. And using the find feature, the only reference I found to pozzolan is in Appendix 31. So I'm asking you to determine what the relevant criteria really are for determining ash quantity. Please provide clear direction to staff. And please, as owners, majority owners, do your due diligence, protect your residents, and protect your taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions to the delegation? Being none, thank you very much.